Miitopia is a fun and goofy RPG where you can set the roles of the characters to be anyone you want, ultimately making every playthrough feel unique to you. And the way you progress through the game is through a level by level structure. And during each level, something you will immediately notice is the transition from day to night, showing time passing by in the world. The way you complete each level is by reaching an inn at the end of the stage, where your party rests up for the night. So I decided to see how far I can go in Miitopia with 100 in-game days. For this challenge, I defined a day in Miitopia showing any form of transition from day to night, which can mean this screen when the team reaches an inn counts as a day passed, even if I reach an inn during daytime, because this screen is always displayed at night. And of course, if the team stops to set up camp for the night before reaching an inn, that level counts as 2 days instead of 1. So without any more delays, here we go. Day 1 began how every playthrough begins. The Dark Lord invades Greenhorn, we chase him down and get our first job of the run, which was the warrior. 2 hits later, and we've recovered the first of the townspeople's faces, Energetic Child Guest C, which marks the end of Day 1. On to Day 2, where we get our first new member of the team, Cautious Cleric Monita, to give Monita some love, since she likely ain't going to be getting any more from Nintendo anytime soon, which sucks. Day 3 begins with me getting my character the first of many of his armor upgrades, and giving both him and Monita some of the grub we've got so far. Monita grew to level 2 and learned the move Cure, before we battled our first boss, Butterfly Noob, which, fittingly enough, went down very easily. After I reached the inn, I was given my first outing ticket, which I immediately used and came to the sudden realization that outings use up an entire day, since when the pair got back to the inn, it was considered nighttime. So I basically just skipped Day 4 accidentally, meaning I will have to avoid using outing tickets if I want to try and get as far as I possibly can within these 100 days. But I can at least scan Amiibo without wasting a day. So a few costumes and game tickets later, I carried on into Day 5, where I had to pick which path I wanted to go down in this level. I went down the tough path, beat up some goblins, got some gold, and then made it to the inn. Day 6 began with the third member of the team arriving at the inn, Kind Popstar Sebtoot. Say what you like about Wii music, but that game, alongside the entire Wii series to me, is very nostalgic. And I'm sure some of you watching feel the same way as me here. I then got upgrades for every current member of the team, before making my first encounter with none other than our Lord and Savior, Great Sage Sayori. And that's really it for Day 6. Seriously, that's really it for Day 6. So, on to Day 7, where I decided to take the treasure path first, although in retrospect, I should have taken the other pathway, since as I said earlier, my goal for this challenge is to get as far as I can, which in order for me to do that, I have to battle the bosses as soon as possible. So since I went down this path anyway, I decided for Day 8 to just pick up the treasure anyway, otherwise going down this path would have felt like I just wasted a day for no reason. Although, I guess I still did technically waste a day, since I had to do the previous level again for Day 9 and take the other path in order to reach the next boss. Day 10 began with our final member for Greenhorn arriving at the inn, the airheaded chef eShop Bag. If the eShop is now gone for good, I might as well give this guy a new home. One purchase later, I then made my way to the next boss, Rocky Long, in which eShop Bag survived on 1 HP, now granting me access to 20 HP sprinkles, which I used to heal eShop Bag back up to full health. This fight marked the first instance of the team also using a HP banana, which I later came to the realization that I'm going to need to do that often, because during my normal playthroughs of the game, I usually decide to take the alternate routes and collect treasures, which leads to me earning more gold and scoring more rescues. Since I do not intend to do that throughout the rest of this challenge, I figured the best alternative to this would be to boost the effects of HP bananas and MP candy as much as I can, since I won't be scoring as many rescues as I normally would otherwise. I gave Long's face back to him at the beginning of Day 11, before heading into the Strange Grove, where this day was pretty uneventful overall, but this interaction at the very end of the stage is honestly pretty funny to me. I got the eShop Bag's first weapon upgrade before heading into the next level for Day 12, where I took on the guest E-Mouse. After Sebtoot got into a laughing fit, something I was kind of expecting Mimey to get into first, I got access to the safe spot and also the life sprinkles, because this fight also marked my first death of the run. After that though, there weren't any more deaths or close calls for the rest of the fight, so one more boss to go. After returning Gesti's face tour at the start of day 13, it was time to head into River Deep Cavern, which during the previous levels I was kinda worried about, because the enemies we encounter in this area for the first time are the Banshees, which hit like absolute trucks at this point in the game, and can inflict the crying effect on party members, dropping their accuracy. The first fight for this level was thankfully the only somewhat hard part about this level, because the apple jellies right after were a piece of cake, and they helped level up everyone on the team immediately, which was good, because when a Mii levels up during a stage, they also get the additional bonus of both HP and MP being fully restored. One more battle later, and we've reached the end of River Deep Cavern, alongside getting our first HP sprinkles upgrade now that I've scored a total of 50 rescues. I began day 14 by getting both monitor and eShop bags, surprisingly their first armor upgrades of the run, and then headed into the castle view and took on the last boss before getting access to the castle itself, Imp Sherry Cola, who hits much harder than the Banshees do. I don't think Monita would have survived this hit if she didn't ask for her upgrade. I wiped out the apple jellies first before taking down the boss, which during that process, I used a majority of my HP sprinkles on Monita so she can use her support skills to aid other team members who may need it, which will also help her increase her relationship level with other party members, which will help grant additional effects in battle, like assists, dodging attacks, and praising. After doing so much healing, both HP and MP, I defeated Imp Sherry Cola and completed the level. On day 15, I began by getting the mayor's introduction to enter the castle, but before I could do that, I had one more stage left to complete. I made quick work of the goblins and rescued the horse, which is now a permanent addition to the team. I basically went with the same design and name I went with in my previous playthroughs, which you can watch in these videos, but with that, Rapidash the horse is now part of the team. Then came day 16, where I was given permission by the guardsman to enter Castle Greenhorn, which for some reason takes more than one day to reach and enter. Someone tell me how that makes any sense. Overall, day 16 was also pretty uneventful. I slayed another group of Banshees, and everyone in my party grew another level. On day 17, I started by getting frilly vestments for Monita, which was the only upgrade I could get at the time, because I couldn't afford any more, and why would I want to spend for ragged vestments? After wiping out more Banshees and apple jellies throughout the level, I made my first encounter with the roaming gourmet, whom of which gave me 3 cheesecakes, one of the best grubs I can get at this point in the game. I started day 18 by getting Sebtoots from Casual Threads, and then finally entering Castle Greenhorn. Like, seriously, how does it take 2 days to get from point A to point B, when they look like they are very close to each other? After meeting King Derp for the first time, his face gets stolen immediately, which marks the beginning of our next mission to track it down. I finished the first battle with a couple of jump slashes, and swept through all of them in the following battle. So overall, I was feeling pretty good about how things were going at this point, only to be reminded by Guest E at the end of the level that I still have no bitches. Whatever. I got money to some wicker vestments at the start of day 19. I got my character up to level 7, which was then followed up by a trapped treasure chest, which contained some more apple jellies, which I was pretty happy with because that's just more free XP. After that though, everyone on the team grew to level 7. Monica also got the ability to now revive party members in battle, which is going to be great in the long run, until a certain event happens. On day 20, I decided to get myself the B armor upgrade and... It's bad enough that the game reminded me that I have no bitches, but it's also making me feel like an idiot too. Day 20 also marked the first time that the team camps throughout the night during a level. The eShop bag chose to join me and keep guard throughout the night, and after sunrise, we carried on the level, beginning day 21, where we fought off a couple more Banshees and Poison Moths, grabbed some loot at the end, and now that we have passed 100 rescues, I was granted an additional upgrade to both my HP and MP sprinkles, 5 points for each. Since I knew the King Golem boss was coming up next, I began day 22 by acquiring upgrades for both Monitor and Sebtoot before entering the level. As for the King Golem boss fight itself, I did a lot of healing to get through this battle, some of which was because I decided to use Proud Protector to try and raise my friendship level with my party members, which alongside granting additional in-battle effects, also fully restores HP to both Miis. Thankfully, despite all the healing I had to do, the battle was not that bad, and I won, concluding day 22. I began day 23 with getting my reward from the king for saving him, meeting his daughter, who wants me to check on a friend of hers back in town. I eventually met this crazy looking guy, told the princess everything that happened, and was then given my next mission by the king, which brings me to the Arid Frontier, where I smashed some rocks, got into a heated argument, which Sebtoot wasn't having any of. Day 24 started with, yet again, acquiring another upgrade for 3 of my party members, and while I was trying to get Monita's lollipop staff from the roulette, I realised that because she's still in a quarrel with my character, I could sell a ticket if I got any for some extra money for future upgrades, which is what I did until I got the lollipop staff. Before I began the next level, I decided to take the upper pathway and fight the gold snurp on the map, because gold snurps drop, well, gold. As for the level itself, I dealt with a few more clouds and rocks, and everyone, aside from eShop Bag, grew to level 8. On day 25, I started by getting myself some copper armor, something that Minecraft is somehow still lacking. Like, seriously, does anyone even mine copper for anything aside from probably copper blocks? I swept through everything in the stage and got eShop Bag to level 8. Everyone was asking for upgrades at the beginning of day 26, which was great, since the Griffin boss was the next thing I was going up against. Didn't stop somebody from failing though. As for the Griffin fight itself, it was pretty much the same deal as the Golem fight, heal and Prow Protector, although unlike the Golem battle, I actually died this time. Which wasn't a big deal anyway, since I immediately got revived and put back up to full health anyway. One attack from the horse, another revive and a few jump slashes later, I won the battle and made my way back to Castle Greenhorn, got rewarded for my labour again, and then walked in on something crazy happening. Next mission, acquire the calming fruit. And the next stage was just one easy battle, so nothing to say here. Level complete, and I got my first MP candy upgrade of the run, improving the item's effect. On day 27, I wiped out a few mushrooms at the beginning of the level, then had a somewhat annoying time with a couple of Mars bee traps, but after those were taken care of, I found the calming fruit, and it was back to the castle for the beginning of day 28, which had been invaded by the Dark Lord while I was away. 2 easy imps and a pseudo boss fight later, it was time to head to Nightmare Tower to save the princess. I managed to reach 150 rescues during the first level, which had granted me another upgrade, but only to my HP sprinkles this time. It's not much, but every little bit of help we get throughout this adventure will be useful in the long run. On day 29, I got everyone on the team to level 9, found some quick loot shortly after, and made easy work with a few enemies that got in my way. I am now almost at the top of Nightmare Tower, and I somehow managed to avoid enemy encounters for about half of day 30. Thankfully, the enemy encounters I did come across throughout the rest of the stage didn't give me much trouble, leading me into day 31. A whole month has now passed since the adventure began, and my next stop was the first major boss fight, the General Princess. On the topic of this boss fight, am I the only one that's slightly upset about the 500 damage indicator here being removed from the Switch version? When the battle begun, I worried almost immediately, because the first attack dropped Monita all the way down to 1 HP. I was beginning to think I was going to need to use my life sprinkle very early on into the battle, since my plan throughout Greenhorn was to only use the life sprinkle on Monita when it was needed, since she can essentially revive everybody else in the team, which she eventually did because Sebtoot decided to sacrifice himself not long after. I think that alone deserves a Wii Music sequel to be in development now. My team members managed to fully heal each other throughout the battle thanks to their relationship levels increasing, which was great since I didn't have to use my HP sprinkles often, and because of that, I was able to win the battle and save the princess. After collecting my final reward from the king, who somehow managed to fit through this door. How? It was time to leave Greenhorn. Everyone on the team grew to level 10 before it was time to camp out for the night once again, transitioning into day 32, which went swimmingly until the very end, where the Dark Lord captured my team members, putting me back to square one. I always hated this part of the game. I hate it so much. I began day 33 by picking Mage as my second job for the run, and hopped right into the first level of Neksdor. I battled a couple of new enemies, grew to level 2, and learned the fire spell. Day 34 began with my first new member of the team arriving at the inn, Cool Imp Cynthia, a highly skilled Pokemon trainer, but not very experienced as a lone fighter, but I believe she'll be able to hold her own throughout this adventure. I took the safe route during the stage, because it was either this or 2 griffins, and at my team's current level, nope, not doing it. I ran into a couple more battles after that, which didn't give me many issues. Makes sense, this is the safe route. And at the end of the stage, both me and Cynthia grew to level 3. On day 35, the third team member for Neksdor arrived at the inn, Stubborn Thief Baldy. The only reason I made him a thief was because, well, the dagger is the closest weapon we have in this game to a ruler. Well, maybe besides the protractor fan, but I don't have access to the princess job yet, so can't use it. This day also marked the first time I encountered the Quizmaster throughout this journey, who will give me items by taking part in his quizzes, as long as I get at least one question right, that is. During this day, I got Baldy up to level 3 and reached 200 rescues, granting me another upgrade to both my HP and MP sprinkles at the end of the day. On day 36, I encountered Joe Mama once again, who got manipulated by genie Tiki Winky, beginning my next mission, which is to recover desert celebrity Marie's gold, which Tinky Winky had stolen from her. The first day in Wetland Way was really quick and easy. I went down the right path, battled a couple of murals, and eventually reached the inn. Day 37 began with my final team member for Neksdor arriving at the inn, Blaze the Cat, who immediately asked for a weapon upgrade not long after arriving. After acquiring her upgrade, I slayed some jade butterflies, immediately gained Blaze up to level 3. Sayori then tells me how I can stop Tinky Winky the genie, which then marked the end of day 37. Day 38 began with me entering the underground maze, which is where Tinky Winky the genie is hiding. Again, the battles in this level were a breeze, considering this time, the enemies themselves made the battles easier, since the anger condition allows me to attack twice in a row in exchange for me not being able to control what they do. Blaze grew to level 4 and everyone else on the team grew to level 5. Day 39 was just as simple as day 38, and Blaze grew to level 5. There really isn't much more I can say about this day. I took on day 40 with a team of 3 because Cynthia fell down a hole, temporarily kicking her off the team until the end of the stage. I took on a single horseshoe crab fossil before finding a mysterious jewel, which serves as a key to a door I will eventually find. After purchasing more upgrades for nearly everyone at the beginning of day 40, it was time to take on the Minotaur boss fight, which hit like an absolute truck. But despite that, I managed to pull through once again by utilising Rapidash as much as I could throughout the battle and using HP bananas whenever I needed to. Everyone grew to level 6 and I was now able to open the door. I confronted Tiki Winky at the beginning of day 41 and got him to return all the gold to Marie, after being a bit manipulative myself. And then the Dark Lord invades the town, meaning I now have to reclaim the townspeople's faces again. And today also marked my first encounter with one of the enemies I believe are one of the most terrifying to go up against in this game, the fittingly named Scary Scorpion, which has a 10% chance of killing someone in just one hit. Thankfully, that didn't happen at all during this stage, but this is definitely not going to be the last time I will run into these guys. Day 42 began with a general knowledge quiz, which made me realise I'm an idiot. I then took on a few more snurps, and eventually the team stopped to camp out for the night again, in which the Fallen Star event took place. And I think this is the only time in the whole game where this event even happens. I picked the Gold Wish, got a minuscule amount, and woke up on day 43, only to get in a battle with 4 scary scorpions. Surprisingly though, not a single one of them went for their kill attack, so they thankfully did not give me as much trouble as I thought they would. Day 44 started with tasty snurps on the map. I wanted to take them on so I could get some more snurp radishes, and yeah. Thankfully, once Rapidash decided to come in and attack, I was able to finish them off with ease, scoring me a few more snurp radishes. After Baldy dug up some gold, and receiving a letter from Postman Wheatley, I reached 250 rescues, granted me more HP sprinkles, and grew everyone to level 7. On day 45, I started by using some of my game tickets on the roulette wheel, because I had really good odds with acquiring cheesecake that day, which I then gave to each of my party members, increasing their stacks significantly. The battles throughout the day were also really straightforward, aside from the few times the mole enemies decided to dodge. I then started off day 46 by giving each of my party members more cheesecake, since I still had quite a decent amount of them left, because I stuck around on the roulette wheel for a while on the previous day. I didn't use all of my game tickets though. I then took on the Gesei Cobra boss, which I managed to defeat really quickly, thanks to Cynthia lowering his defenses with Sweet Whispers. Everyone at the end of the battle grew to level 8, and I got my next MP candy upgrade, now that I have used 10 of them. On day 47, I decided that the next boss I wanted to go for was the Desert Celebrity Painting boss, meaning my next stop was the Underground Maze once again. My first day back down here began with me breaking some fossils, and my character just being really nice to everyone. I may have made fun of this game in the past, but come on, that doesn't mean I cannot be nice. Day 48 started with me giving the last of my cheesecake to all of my party members, and I think because of all the cheesecake I got on the roulette wheel, I boosted my party stats by a decent amount. I was going to need it anyway since I fought the Marie painting at the end of the stage. I started by taking down the coppers so I would only have to deal with one enemy attacking my team instead of 3. But even with Marie by herself, I still had a couple of close calls throughout this battle. At the end of the stage though, I found out I finally consumed enough HP bananas to enhance their effect. I personally think the first HP banana upgrade should have came sooner than this. 20 HP bananas sounds ideal to me, instead of 30. After returning Marie's face at the beginning of day 49, it was then time to enter the Great Pyramid. I took on the King Golems blocking my way, encountered some more new enemies, and everyone on the team reached level 9. On day 50, I fought the Kelly painting boss, which surprisingly did not have any close calls, unlike the Marie painting battle. I then returned her face at the start of day 51, meaning I only had one more jewel left to collect before I could open the door inside the pyramid. I managed to reach 300 rescues during the stage, granting me more HP and MP sprinkles, and also for the first time, improving the safe spot. I won't get another safe spot upgrade until I reach 550 rescues, so it's gonna be a while until the next one, if I can even reach that number by the end of the challenge that is. I grabbed some loot at the beginning of day 52, right before confronting the Shady Merchant Sword and Shield boss, which has the gimmick of being able to tag team and hit one of my party members twice in a row. I wanted to take down the sword first since it hit harder than the shield, which is not that surprising, and after I defeated the sword, I was able to finish off the shield with no problem. I finally got the last jewel from the Shady Merchant family at the start of day 53, which means it was now time to head for the door inside the pyramid. Everyone grew to level 10 and got some new moves, which I would need for the next upcoming boss battle. And then on day 54, I reached the door and opened it up, meaning it was time for Pharaoh Tiki Winky. While he doesn't hit as hard as the General Princess, he can hit a maximum of 3 Miis with one attack. And not only does the Pharaoh status make one of my Miis essentially unusable, but if I didn't put them in the safe spot immediately, they would give one of their HP bananas to the boss, allowing them to heal, which thankfully is very easy to prevent from happening, so there wasn't any need for me to worry about accidentally healing the boss. After Cynthia lowered Tinky Winky's guard, a statement I never thought I'd ever be saying out loud, I was able to pull off massive chunks of damage. I did have to use some HP bananas here and there, but once I got my HP back, I was able to finish the battle, and can I just say that this is the biggest asshole of a photographer ever? Why snap photos of dire situations instead of, I don't know, warning the team when the time calls for it? And with that, I have saved the town of Neksdor, and with the help of Tinky Winky on day 55, it was now time to leave and head off to the realm of the Fae. One last goodbye to the scary scorpions here, and on to day 56, where I got all 3 of the Quizmaster's questions right this time. Maybe now I won't feel like an idiot. Oh, you son of a bitch. I continued down the path, skipping the king at the oasis, and once again, the team stopped to camp out for the night. I've never actually had a night barbecue. Have you ever been to one of those before? If so, let me know how it was in the comments below, because it honestly sounds like a lot of fun. Oh, and day 57 was done and dusted in a matter of seconds. It was just a horde of jade butterflies and it was over. And of course, it was also over for my Neksdor team, putting me back at square one, again. I chose the tank despite how bad it is. Why? Because this is beautiful. Yeah, I just really adore this walking animation. On day 58, I headed into the first stage of the Realm of the Fae, grabbed some loot, and made my first encounter with the enemy in this game that everyone either loves or hates, the Twerkies. I grew to level 2 after defeating it, and then reached the inn. Day 59 began with my first new team member arriving at the inn, and I decided I wanted to give one of my Miosi some time to shine in this adventure. You might have seen her from my ongoing Miitopia Nuzlocke series, but for those who haven't, allow me to introduce you to Princess Crystal. Also godly voice, I already do know her well. I'm the one who made her up. I'll probably write about her lore in my community tab at some point. I then checked the roulette wheel and saw that cheesecake was available again, so you probably already know what I did here. Not long after Crystal grew to level 2, I once again met with Sayori, who gave me my next set of directions before I arrived at the inn for the night. Day 60 was overall a pretty uneventful day. I fought a few mouthy tomatoes and some f***ing twerkies before arriving at the inn. I then arrived at the Elven Retreat at the beginning of day 61, where I encountered the youngest fairy for the first time. I agreed to help her find her sisters, meaning my next destination was the Citrus Cave. The battles in the following stage were once again trivial. Me and Crystal both gained a level and got some new moves. Day 62 started with the third member of my final team arriving at the inn. Airheaded scientist and me with a personality and job that sound like they shouldn't go together, because scientists are usually smart people, not complete airheads. I decided to begin by taking on a gold snurp that appeared on the map, which Crystal for some reason tried to spare. I guess it's kinda on me for depicting my OC here as a person with a kind spirit. Regardless though, I beat it and got some extra gold before heading into the next stage. I went down the monsters path, fought a couple forest goblins and mouthy tomatoes, and grew to level 3. On day 63, I once again participated in the Quizmaster's games and got some more HP bananas for winning. Everyone on the team grew to level 4, and I passed 350 rescues, which this upgrade only gave me 5 more HP sprinkles, which I guess is fine for now, and as I said earlier, every little bit helps. I reached the Citrus Cave on day 64, and my first day in there was pretty straightforward. I defeated a couple of new enemies I encountered, grabbed some loot, and reached the inn. I went down the right path on day 65, since this is the quickest direction to go down in order to reach the boss. Everyone on the team grew to level 5, and I accidentally activated a boulder trap, which didn't really matter because the level ended 2 seconds later. On day 66, I made my first encounter with the snail enemy, which has the ability of hiding in its shell to reduce the damage it takes. It didn't get the opportunity to use it in this battle however, and me and Crystal grew to level 6. Day 67 was once again really straightforward, since just like the first Citrus Cave level, it was just one battle, although that's likely because of the fairies dialogue being the first half of the level. Can't complain about that. And then on day 68, I reached the end of Citrus Cave, which meant it was time to confront the next boss, Arachna Yuri. I wiped out both pom-pom enemies, helping it immediately, and surprisingly, it only interrupted my team with spiders once throughout the battle, so this fight overall was a piece of cake. And even then, this game still feels like taking jabs at me. I just pressed the screen capture button and rejected him. I then began day 69 by entering the big forest for the first time, which is where the eldest fairy is located. Everyone on the team has now reached level 7, and the new enemies I encountered here were also very easy to take care of. At the start of day 70, the final member of my third team finally arrived at the inn, Mage Jaden Animations, who apparently dislikes cheesecake. Jaden, if you're watching this, can you verify whether or not this is accurate? This day was mainly focused on getting Jaden caught up with the rest of the team, by giving her any bonus XP I got after winning battles. I got Jaden up to level 4, before the team once again stopped to set up camp for the night. As for day 71, literally nothing happened. After the team woke up, they found it in immediately. So what was the point of camping outside for the night, when the inn wasn't even that far away from where they camped? Whatever. On to day 72, which gave me the option of gold or snacks. This was the easiest choice I've made of this run so far. Although the gold snap I ran into going down this path almost one-shot Jaden at full health. Aside from that though, I defeated the gold snap and got some extra money, and reached the inn. I spent day 73 continuing to get Jaden caught up with everyone else. I ended the stage with Jaden growing to level 6, so she's almost completely caught up with the rest of the team now. On day 74, I made it to the end of the big forest and found the next boss, the Moniker Owl, which has the ability to interrupt my team members by inflicting the vacancy status on them, which in turn makes me take more damage from attacks and inflict less damage to the boss. Sounds annoying, but just like the spider status from the last boss fight, it's manageable. And for some reason, the boss never even bothered to use it a single time during the entire fight, which is honestly a first for me. With Monica now rescued, it was time to open the door and yep, Dark Lord's here. Time to save the town for a third time. The good news is, Monica joins the team throughout this portion of the adventure, and she has the ability to heal everyone on the team using her healing melody ability. Well, as long as they are not in the safe spot, but either option is still good. I decided the first boss I wanted to go after for this segment of the adventure was the Tomato Brothers, since I remember that boss being the easiest one to take on first during this portion of the game. I reached 400 rescues during the day, and at the end, got both Crystal and to level 8, alongside my next HP and MP Sprinkles upgrade. On day 76, before I took on the Tomato Brothers, I accidentally started a quarrel with one of my party members, since Wild Shot is entirely random on who it hits. And considering I do not have Seb 2 with me to break up quarrels, I have to do it one of the other ways, which is either by having both me and share a room, or hope my character wants to immediately make it up to. But before I could do either of those, I had to take on the Tomato Brothers, which began with me accidentally shooting again, somehow. Meh, the tomato juice did him good at least. It didn't do Jaden any good though, because the tomato juice straight up killed her. Question number 2 for Jaden Animations, in case she is watching this. Do you hate tomatoes or not? Regardless, I just used my life sprinkle on her immediately to get her back up, got some additional healing from Monica, and after that, the rest of the fight went smoothly. So, 1 boss down, 2 to go. Day 77 began with me returning to Citrus Cave, where I slayed a couple of tasty snurps before making my way down the path to the next required boss battle. I accidentally activated a trap again, essentially cutting Crystal's HP in half. So she decided to use a HP banana during the next battle, which to my surprise turned out to be my 60th HP banana consumed throughout the run so far. Meaning at the end of the level, its effect got boosted again from 30 HP to 40 HP. But considering my current state of the challenge so far, I do not think I will be able to enhance the effect anymore from this point forward. Day 78 was another treasure level. Despite the fact one of the chests was a trap, it only contained apple jellies anyway, so that's just free XP. After that though, I opened the gold chest, which contained an upgrade for Jaden, and finished the level. On day 79, I headed into the next level, which I thought was where the next boss was located. Turned out I was wrong about that, and this lever was required to access the level where said boss is located. So, I guess I wasn't too far off. Day 80 started with the quarrel between me and coming to an end, which means no more sulking or getting distracted in battle. For now, that is. Before I confronted the next boss, I saw that the roulette wheel had a very high chance for me to win the bombshell weapon. So, after getting one to equip, I did basically what I did earlier in the run again and racked up a lot of gold. The damage taken in the battle before the boss didn't really matter much, because after winning this fight, everyone on the team leveled up, immediately restoring all their HP and MP back to full, which was great, because as for the boss itself, its blow attack or whatever it's called was pretty nasty to deal with. But of course, with Monica's healing melody and the resources I have access to, I was able to get by. Another townsperson saved, and another jewel acquired, only one more to go. Unlike all the other bosses I've faced so far, this next one, I already had access to the stage it was located in. I got quite a decent amount of help from Rapidash at the beginning of the battle. The damage it inflicted on my team was much more manageable for me to deal with compared to the butterfly boss, and I got pretty lucky with Wild Shot, allowing me to save marks and get the last jewel. And also, Jaden grew to level 9 and got the move Explosion, so it's safe to say she, alongside Oof's unstable formula, is going to make the next portion of this run a lot easier. Day 82 was the beginning of my road to finding Lotus Lake, which is where I will find the last boss in the realm of the Fae. And as I expected, Jaden's explosion attack began making the upcoming battles much more easier. I reached 450 rescues, scored more game tickets, and ended the day with a pretty significant upgrade to my HP sprinkles. Day 83 continued the journey to Lotus Lake. Overall, another uneventful day and- Oh, the f***! twerkies are back! Yeah, I missed you! Just get out of my way. I don't get much XP from killing you anymore. Day 84 began with another Quizmaster game. I got all 3 questions right, got some MP candy, and finally entered the Lotus Lake. I grew to level 10 and got the laser attack, which would have been nice to have earlier, because before this, I accidentally started another quarrel because of Wild Shot again, which thankfully ended almost immediately because my character decided to make it up to Crystal at the start of day 85. After opening up the door, I took the lower path of Lotus Lake and encountered a couple more new foes during the level. Crystal and both grew to level 10, and another gold snurp later, the team once again chose to camp out for the night. And just like last time, the team woke up the next day and literally nothing happened. So, day 86, wasted. On to day 87, where the f***ing twerkies are back! Oh my lord, they just don't stop coming! Why do they drop chicken curry? They are not chickens, they are turkeys! Then on to day 88. I reached the end of the Lotus Lake, and in my opinion, this is the weirdest boss in the entire game. I don't even think I need to explain why I think this thing is weird. I took down both of the boss's teammates immediately with a combination of Unstable Formula and the laser, and just like the slime boss I recently fought, I was once again getting lucky with the move Wild Shot, meaning I was able to inflict a lot of damage quickly. I did have to heal slightly here and there, but eventually I was able to defeat the weirdest video game boss ever created, and the youngest Fab Fairy was saved. Now that I've saved everyone in the realm of the Fae, day 89 started with the path leading to the next area being opened up. The battles were uneventful, so before I knew it, I reached the inn, transitioning into day 90, where I entered the last level in the realm of the Fae. After destroying a horde of snurps, the team stopped to camp out for the night one last time, although no one came out to keep watch with me this time, which honestly felt kinda sad. Day 91 starts with, oh come on! Is this seriously my final goodbye to this place? Another f***ing twerky? Actually, yes it is, because that was the only fight I had to do before reaching the end. Day 92 begins with this again, and I'm definitely not getting all of my party members back. I've only got a week left as of this point in the challenge, so ripperoni to a majority of my cast I guess. Day 93 was more of the same. Fight more enemies until I reach the end of the stage. Only difference this time is I can spam Wild Shot without the risk of any of my party members getting hit, because my party only consists of me, which is honestly really sad. I might have enough time to be able to change that though, because on day 94, I arrived at the Haven Hollow, where Sayori agrees to help me recover my partner's faces, opening up multiple pathways on the following day, and of course, since I had Great Sage Sayori on the team now, the battles flew by a lot quicker. Day 96 started with what I'd consider a major kick in the teeth, because the food I had the chance of winning on the roulette wheel was the very rare Snurp Radish, which is not only the highest rarity of grub, but Snurp Radishes buff every stat. But why now though, when the challenge is almost over? Because of that, I just said screw it and used all of my remaining game tickets here to try and get as many Snurp Radishes as I could. And do you want to know how many times I won Snurp Radishes out of the 12 game tickets I had? Once. So I essentially only got 3 Snurp Radishes out of the 12 game tickets I had. So I just used all of them on myself immediately, headed into the next level, and took on the first boss, the Magma Blaze Slime. Since Wild Shot cannot hit allies outside of the party, like the Great Sage for example, I was perfectly free to spam that during the battle without the risk of it hitting anybody. Also, the Great Sage's Tower of Flame is f***ing busted. Day 97 though, was when I made, quite possibly, the worst choice of the entire run. After getting Blaze back on the team, the next level I went to gave me what is essentially a difficulty selection for the upcoming battles, kinda like the tough and easy paths we saw at the beginning of the game. I took the pro path, which started me off with a few skeletons and an owlet, which I didn't think was that bad. But then, the very next battle, right after, was 2 fiends. At a loss for words, I just accepted what was coming to me and died, meaning I had to try again the following day, and of course not take the pro path. This time, the first battle consisted of a mage goblin and a lightning cloud, so I knew I wasn't going to be put up against anything else that would be unfair later on in the level. After completing the following battles, I was rewarded with some loot for clearing the intermediate path, and reach the inn, before confronting the next boss the following day. Pain Cloud Jaden animations, and just like the last time, the Tower of Flame did a big portion of damage to the boss. And I once again spammed wild shots, but this time with the risk of hitting Blaze, which thankfully didn't happen all that much. Then came the final day of the challenge, day 100, where Jaden rejoined the team, and sadly, since this is the final day, E-Shot Bag, along with the rest of the team, will remain faceless, which really sucks. Oh, and also, I took another path in the level, but that doesn't really matter since this is essentially as far as I can go. So, after 100 in-game days, this is my final result. Kinda shows how big of an adventure Miitopia really is. And who knows, I might follow this up with another 100 in-game days, or possibly beat the main story to see how long the adventure really is. After this video goes live, which it already is because you're watching it, I will have put up a poll in my community tab deciding what the next approach to this run will be. So if you want to decide what happens next in this adventure, be sure to go place your vote in the poll and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on what is to come. So until next time fellow pretzels, have a nice day. Bye!